Hello and welcome back to another team selection video for Game Week 16. For today's video, I'm gonna go through my Game Week 15 review, followed by my team selection for Game Week 16. If you do like my content, do consider giving me a like and a thumbs up, and also subscribe to this channel if you're new around here. It will massively help out this channel to grow too. This will be my final game week before the World Cup starts, so it's time to take some risks, and there's no need to roll the transfer because we get unlimited transfer during the World Cup too. So we don't have to worry if we want to take a 1 week punt, we could do so because this unlimited transfer will be active all the way until before the game week 17 starts, which is after the World Cup. So for my game week 15 scores, it was very decent with 52 points. The big shocker for many FPL players is perhaps Cancelo red card, which could have affected Man City output in the game in terms of goals and assists. It's very lucky that at the very last minute, De Bruyne got a foul from a Fulham player who kicked him in the shin, or I think it's a shin or ankle. He got an assist from a penalty, and Haaland scored a penalty goal. It's even more shocking that Mitrovic did not feature in the game because we thought that he's gonna play because he's well, but end up he seems to suffer a reoccurrence of that ankle injury again. Zaha could have scored that goal from the corner if not from that touch from Gabriel, which is really unlucky. I feel that Zaha, to score that goal from a corner that could potentially be a wonder goal for Premier League. There's not a lot of players that actually score from the corner. So if he does score that one, it could be a fantastic. It could be the goal of the month or so. I think Trossard got an assist, but Zaha got double-digit scores, which I'm not so happy about because I actually transferred Trossard in for Zaha this game week, and this time, it's very frustrating because I've held on to Zaha for so long and he doesn't perform. So right after I sold him, he came back with a double-digit score, which is kind of frustrating and disappointing. And we have Darwin, who I expect him to get returns against Spurs, but I think he should and could have got more goals. And Trippier is my standout performer in the team, unfortunately, and he got an assist, and this basically just sums up my Game Week 15 results. So for Game Week 16, we have one free transfer and we have 0.4 million in the bank. So let's start with my Game Week 16 team selection. For my goalkeeper, we have Danny Ward. I don't think West Ham is an easy game for Ward, but I don't feel Chelsea is good for Pope either. I think Chelsea form is terrible right now, but I think they have enough firepower to score at least one goal. And with players like Sterling, Aubameyang, and Mason Mount, they are all able to turn the game around with goals. And on paper, I could be wrong, but I think West Ham attack is not as good as Chelsea attack. So I just had a feeling that Ward is gonna get a better score than Pope. It has a better chance of a clean sheet or so. Moving up to my defense, we have Trippier. Trippier is going to start regardless of his opponent because his quality is shining through every match right now, and it's really hard for me to ignore him and select someone else. And against this weakened Chelsea team playing at Newcastle home ground, there's every possibility that Newcastle can come away with a win. And if Newcastle does come away with a win, it seems like Trippier is going to get more points here. And then we have Cody. Cody is playing against Bournemouth. Bournemouth has scored 5 goals in the last 2 games, which is incredible given how they actually struggled to find goals early in the season. But I think Everton is not bad in defense either, so this could be a tricky game. But he playing away against a Bournemouth who has been scoring in the last 2 games, so it could be a little bit difficult for Cody to get that clean sheet points. So I'm not so confident in Cody, in this selection too. And last in defense, we have Cancelo. Because Cancelo got a red card for being the last man to foul a Fulham player, he was banned for at least 1 game, and he served that ban in the Carabao Cup, and this is why he's available in Game Week 16. So I think Pep has to play him because no one else can offer that kind of attacking threat he brings to the game. so he's likely to play, and he's also well rested. He only played during the first half against Fulham. He probably wants to make redemption in this game, so I think every factor points to a big score for Cancelo this game week. Up next in my midfield, we have Xhaka. I think Wolves is a team that has conceded a lot of goals recently. They conceded a total of 10 goals in the past 4 matches. Their form is terrible and they're up against Arsenal, who has been incredible so far. I think Xhaka has been consistent throughout the seasons, getting at least 1 return almost every game, and he is on penalty too, so I think there's some potential for a big score. Next, we have Kevin De Bruyne. In terms of De Bruyne, he's well rested and he did not play a single minute in the Carabao Cup against Chelsea. I think it's Brentford who has conceded 7 goals in the last 4 games. De Bruyne looks like a good pick because he may get some attacking returns here, also given the fact that he has been really consistent this season. And then we have Martinelli. In terms of Martinelli, in the first few games, we see Martinelli playing slightly wider because they're lacking quality in their fullback with the Zinchenko injury. But recently, with the returns of Zinchenko and Kieran Tierney, I think he will start to play a slightly more central role, which is good for FPL assets, because a central role is much more easier to score and assist than a wider role. And I think this is the same with Xhaka because he has Ben White to cover on his right. So these 2 players, Xhaka and Martinelli, does have a reason to really perform well against Wolves. Last in my midfield, we have Trossard. Now in terms of Trossard, this is a little bit tricky here because Aston Villa has a new manager and they did well to win against Manchester United last game. They had lesser possession against Manchester United, but they seems to know what their manager wants them to do in terms of tactics and gameplay. They are also able to execute their counter-attacking play very well. So it looks like Emery and his team has the tactics actually fixed. So now I'm not saying that Trossard is not able to get any attacking returns against Aston Villa, but I'm just slightly less confident now given the fact that Aston Villa has beaten Manchester United. Moving up to my forward, we have Darwin Núñez. In terms of Darwin Núñez, he's playing against Southampton, and Southampton just sacked their manager and have already hired a replacement, I think in the last 2 days. But I think the team needs some time to adjust to the manager's new tactic and training, so I'm not so sure whether they're ready to face this Liverpool side yet. So Liverpool could very well take advantage of this situation and get a big score here. And hopefully in that big score, Darwin Núñez is going to take advantage and score a hat-trick in this game. Up next, we have Haaland. In terms of Haaland, similar to De Bruyne, Haaland did not play a single minute in the Carabao Cup. And I think that because this is his last game before the World Cup starts and he's not playing in the World Cup, so if he's fit, it doesn't make any sense to bench him this game week. We see he's starting to come back slowly into the team because Pep has brought him in the second half against Fulham, so I think he could be ready to start in this game too. And he's on penalty, which is an additional great factor. And I think this is the time that we may see that the old Haaland back, the Haaland that seems to score 2 to 3 goals every match. Last in my forward, we have Mitrovic. Now, I'm not so sure Mitrovic's injury is to what extent, but he's proven that he can score against some big teams in the Premier League, and this is a home match for Fulham too. So even if he doesn't start in the game, you still have Andrews to cover for him, and Andrews will also cover penalty duties for Mitrovic too. So in my bench, we have Pope, Andreas, Nico Williams, and Johnny. I've spoken about Pope and Andreas pretty much, so I will just leave it at that. So then we have Nico Williams, but which I'm not so confident that Forest can get a clean sheet against Crystal Palace. That look to be a different side after that one last game week, and he doesn't contribute. Nico Williams doesn't contribute much to attacking returns either, so he will be on my bench too. And Johnny is a non-starter for Wolves, and his team is playing against Arsenal, which is a fantastic team, so he will be on the bench too. Now in terms of transfer, there's not a lot that we can do here because we can't upgrade players because we only have 0.4 million in the bank. Most of my midfield is not transferable because Arsenal and Man City have easy opponent this game week, and Trossard did get a return for me last game week, so it's difficult to switch him out too. I also don't have the funds to move Andrews out for a player like Amaron. But recently I've been looking at how the Japanese player Mitoma play, and he has been excellent every time he plays for Brighton too. He's good in dribbling, he's very attacking, he's not afraid to take on defenders, he's got the touch and speed to take on his opponent and get past his opponent. So if I were to transfer him in, I can sacrifice Andreas because he's playing against Manchester United and it won't be an easy game for Andreas. So I could possibly look to transfer Mitoma in for Andreas and take a risk and even bench Mitrovic too to start Mitoma. Another possibility for transfer is in my defense and my forward position. I think Mitrovic is playing against Manchester United, so it's a difficult game for him. And then for the funds that I have, I could get back Solanke for just a 1 week punt. But I'm not so excited at this option because Solanke seems to be playing a much deeper role, something like the role that Firmino is taking up in the Liverpool squad. So I think that Solanke may not be the best option here, and also given the fact that Everton defense has been pretty good this season, so I'm not so sure whether Solanke, can score goals against Everton. And for defender, the player that I'm looking at is an Arsenal defender, and it really depends on what kind of Wolves team that Arsenal is going to face. Are they going to face an Wolves team who have been poor in scoring goals in the early half of the season, or are they going to face a Wolves team who just scored a total of 3 goals in the last 2 games? And even though I have no doubt that Arsenal is going to win this game, I'm just not so sure whether Arsenal can keep a clean sheet away from home. I can say among all these options, the options to bring in a Arsenal defender seems like more like a safe bet, but just a very low chance to get a double-digit score, and the maximum that you can get is perhaps a 6 to 7 pointers for a clean sheet. And for moderate risk is to get Solanke in against for him to play against Everton. But Everton is a good defense team, so I had my doubts about this transfer too. And the players that is going to be the most risky but could potentially pay off really well is Mitoma, because he's very attacking and he looks eager to prove himself to De Zerbi. And the good thing is his ownership is only 0.1%, so he's an extremely differential player here. So for the captain armband, I'm putting it on Haaland and hoping that he starts and get a big score against Brighton. Even if he doesn't play, we still have Darwin Núñez as a vice captain, because the game against Southampton looks just looks like a delicious game for Liverpool to actually get a big score here. So this is my team selection for game week 16, and this is my last game week before the World Cup starts. I'll be covering World Cup content too because I'll be playing World Cup Fantasy, so do subscribe if you want to see more of my World Cup content. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope all of you have a lovely day ahead.